Listen closely the moment you start begging for love. You've already abandoned yourself. Strong women don't plead for crumbs. They stand up, breathe deep, and walk away. I want to say this slowly so it lands in your chest and not just your ears. Strength is not loud. Strength is not dramatic. Strength is knowing your worth so deeply that you refuse to negotiate it. Strong women don't chase love that keeps running. They don't shrink to fit someone else's comfort. They don't bargain with silence, inconsistency, or half-hearted affection. Here's the truth we avoid because it hurts. When you beg for love, you teach people how little you believe you deserve. And every time you stay where you are tolerated instead of cherished, you betray your own heart. Walking away is not weakness. Walking away is self-respect in motion. Strong women walk away from people who make love feel like a transaction, from people who only show up when it's convenient, from people who confuse intensity with intimacy and attention with commitment. Love is not something you earn by overgiving or over-explaining. Love is something that meets you whole, steady, and honest. This isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. Clear that love should not feel like anxiety. Clear that connection should not cost you your dignity. Clear that you don't need to prove your value to anyone who can't already see it. So let me be clear with you now. There are 5 kinds of people strong women walk away from, not because they don't care, but because they finally care enough about themselves. Strong women walk away from emotionally unavailable people, not because they don't feel deeply, but because they feel everything. And they've learned the hard way that loving someone who can't meet you emotionally will slowly hollow you out. An emotionally unavailable person will keep you guessing. One day they're warm, the next day distant. One moment they open the door just enough to keep you hopeful, and the next they disappear behind walls they refuse to explain. And you start doing the dangerous work of translating silence, decoding mixed signals, and blaming yourself for their inability to show up. Strong women stop doing that work. They stop asking, did I say too much? They stop wondering, if I just love harder, will they finally choose me? They stop shrinking their needs to make someone else feel safe. Because here's the truth that hurts before it heals. Emotional unavailability is not a challenge to overcome. It's a boundary to respect. You cannot love someone into emotional presence. You cannot be patient enough, kind enough, or understanding enough to make someone ready. And every time you try, you teach your nervous system that uncertainty is normal. It's not. Strong women understand that consistency is not too much to ask for. Clarity is not neediness. Wanting emotional safety is not weakness. It's wisdom. Love should feel steady, not like a test you're constantly failing. So they walk away, not angrily, not dramatically. But decisively, they choose peace over potential, reality over fantasy, self-respect over hope that keeps hurting. Because strong women know this, if someone can't meet you where you are emotionally, they don't get access to your heart. Strong women walk away from people who only love them when they're convenient. These are the people who show up when it benefits them, when they're lonely, bored, or in need, but disappear the moment real effort is required. At first, it feels flattering. They text when they miss you. They call when they need comfort. They lean on your strength, your empathy, your availability, and slowly, without realizing it, you become the emotional backup plan, not the priority, not the choice, just the option. Strong women notice the pattern, and they stop romanticizing it. They stop accepting last-minute invitations that feel more like afterthoughts than intentions. They stop rearranging their lives to accommodate someone who won't rearrange a single plan for them. They stop mistaking familiarity for commitment. Because here's the painful clarity. If someone only shows up when it's easy, they will disappear when it's hard. And love, real love, requires presence when it's inconvenient. It requires showing up on ordinary days, difficult days, and days when nothing is being asked in return. Strong women understand that consistency is love's language, not grand promises, not intense beginnings, but steady actions over time. And when someone can't offer that, no explanation will turn inconsistency into devotion. So they walk away from conditional love, from people who treat connection like a service they can access whenever they feel like it. They choose relationships where effort is mutual, where care is not occasional, and where their time is respected. Because strong women know this being chosen only when it's convenient is not being chosen at all. Strong women walk away from people who cross boundaries and call it love. These are the ones who push, pressure, and persist, then tell you you're too sensitive when you finally say no. At first, it's subtle, a joke that stings, a request that ignores your limits, a moment where your discomfort is brushed aside in the name of closeness, and you start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe love is supposed to feel like this, but love does not require self-erasure. Love does not demand that you abandon your boundaries to keep the peace. Strong women stop explaining their boundaries to people who are committed to misunderstanding them. They understand that boundaries are not walls. They are doors with clear rules of entry. And anyone who repeatedly violates them is not confused. They are entitled. They benefit from your silence. They rely on your empathy to excuse their behavior. They test how much you'll tolerate, then ask for more. Here's the hard truth. When someone disrespects your boundaries, they are telling you exactly how much they respect you. And no amount of love, loyalty, or history makes disrespect acceptable. Strong women choose themselves anyway. They stop justifying their needs. They stop softening their no to protect someone else's comfort. They stop calling endurance a virtue. So they walk away, not because they lack compassion, but because they finally have compassion for themselves. They know that love should feel safe, not invasive, supportive, not suffocating, respectful, not demanding. Because strong women know this, anyone who cannot honor your boundaries does not deserve access to your life. Strong women walk away from people who make them feel small to feel powerful. These are the ones who disguise criticism as honesty, control as concern, and superiority as confidence. It doesn't start loudly. It starts with subtle dismissals. Eye rolls when you speak, silence when you shine. Jokes that land like tiny cuts to your self-worth. And over time, you begin to doubt yourself. You speak softer. You apologize for taking up space. You shrink, not because you want to, but because someone else needs to feel bigger. Strong women notice that feeling in their body, the tightening, the heaviness, the instinct to disappear. And they listen to it. They listen to it. They understand this truth. Anyone who is threatened by your growth will eventually try to limit it. People who need to dominate will always be uncomfortable around someone who stands in their own power. And no amount of love can heal a person who needs you diminished to feel secure. Strong women stop confusing emotional harm with intimacy. They stop believing that being humbled means being loved. They stop tolerating disrespect just to keep a connection alive. Because love should expand you, not compress you. It should invite your voice, not silence it. It should celebrate your strength, not compete with it. So they walk away from manipulation disguised as affection, from people who chip away at their confidence and call it keeping you grounded. They choose environments and relationships where they are encouraged to rise, not required to shrink. Because strong women know this, anyone who needs you smaller to feel powerful is not someone you can safely love. Strong women walk away from people who refuse accountability. These are the ones who apologize without changing, explain without repairing, and turn every conversation about harm into a defense of their intentions. They say the right words. I didn't mean it like that. They sound sincere. You know that's not who I am. And somehow, every time you bring your pain to the table, you leave carrying their excuses instead. Strong women stop carrying what isn't theirs. They recognize this pattern when someone avoids accountability. They avoid intimacy. Because accountability requires humility. It requires the courage to say, I hurt you and I'm willing to change. Without that, there is no growth, only repetition. The same wounds, the same conversations, the same promises wrapped in different language. And here's the truth that stings. A person who can't take responsibility will always make you responsible for their behavior. You'll be told you're too emotional, too sensitive, too demanding. You'll start editing your truth to keep the peace, and that peace will cost you your voice. Strong women stop negotiating reality. They stop accepting apologies that are not followed by action. They stop believing that love means endless understanding with no repair, because love without accountability is unsafe. It teaches you to doubt your own experience. It normalizes harm. It asks you to stay wounded so someone else doesn't have to grow. So they walk away calmly, clearly, without trying to win the argument or change the person. They choose relationships where accountability is not forced, but offered, because strong women know this: if someone won't own their impact, they don't get continued access to your heart. Strong women walk away from people who confuse intensity with intimacy. These are the ones who rush closeness, accelerate connection, and mistake emotional fireworks for emotional safety. It feels powerful at first. Deep conversations too soon. Big declarations without history. Passion without grounding. And you think, this must be real because it feels so strong. But intensity is not the same as intimacy. Intensity burns fast. Intimacy builds slow. Strong women learn to tell the difference. They notice how intensity demands immediacy. Right now, all at once, no questions. Intimacy, on the other hand, allows space. It respects pacing. It grows trust through consistency, not adrenaline. Intensity often hides avoidance. It skips the work of knowing someone and jumps straight to attachment. And here's the hard truth: people who chase intensity are often running from vulnerability. Real intimacy requires patience, discomfort, and accountability. Intensity can be manufactured. Intimacy cannot. Strong women stop mistaking emotional overwhelm for connection. They stop bonding over trauma without building trust. They stop being pulled into relationships that feel like emotional roller coasters, highs that thrill and lows that destabilize. Because love should not hijack your nervous system. It should not leave you anxious, hyper aware, or afraid of losing what was never stable to begin with. Love should feel grounding, steady. So they walk away from chaos dressed up as passion, from people who want closeness without commitment and depth, without responsibility. They choose relationships that move at the speed of trust, because strong women know this: if it's real, it won't rush you, and it won't require you to lose yourself to feel connected. Strong women walk away from people who stay only for the benefits, not the bond. These are the ones who love what you give, but not who you are. They enjoy your support, your listening, your loyalty, your emotional labor. They lean into your strength when they're breaking and pull away when you need the same care in return. And slowly, the relationship becomes unbalanced. You pour, they collect. You give, they receive. Strong women feel the exhaustion before they name it. They notice how their presence is expected, but their needs feel inconvenient. How their availability is assumed, but their vulnerability is met with silence. This isn't partnership, it's extraction. And love that only flows one way will eventually leave you empty. Here's the truth that wakes strong women up. Anyone who benefits from your self-sacrifice will resist your self-respect. The moment you ask for reciprocity, the moment you stop overgiving, the dynamic shifts, and so does their interest. Strong women stop earning belonging through burnout. They stop proving love through exhaustion. They stop confusing usefulness with worth, because real love doesn't drain you. It nourishes you. It doesn't keep score of what you give. It matches it. It doesn't disappear when you need rest, reassurance, or repair. So they walk away from one-sided connections. From people who stay as long as the supply lasts. They choose relationships rooted in mutual care, shared effort, and emotional balance. Because strong women know this: if someone loves the benefits more than the bond, they were never truly loving you. Strong women walk away from people who make them beg for clarity. These are the ones who keep you suspended in uncertainty. Never fully in, never fully out. They avoid clear conversations. They dodge labels. They say, let's see where this goes, while holding you emotionally hostage. And you start doing something dangerous. You wait, you pause your needs, you silence your questions so you don't seem too much. Strong women recognize that confusion is not chemistry. It's a warning. They understand this deeply. Clarity is not pressure. Clarity is kindness. When someone truly cares, they don't leave you guessing about where you stand. They don't keep you in emotional limbo while they explore their options or protect their comfort. And here's the truth that breaks illusions. People who avoid clarity are often avoiding responsibility. Responsibility for your heart. Responsibility for their intentions. Responsibility for the impact of their indecision. Strong women stop auditioning for certainty. They stop asking questions that deserve obvious answers. They stop interpreting vagueness as depth, because love should not feel like waiting for permission to matter. It should not require you to chase reassurance or decode silence. It should feel anchored, not ambiguous. So they walk away from mixed signals and unclear intentions, from relationships that demand patience but offer no direction. They choose honesty even when it hurts over confusion that slowly erodes their self-worth. Because strong women know this: if someone wants you in their life, you won't have to beg for clarity, you'll receive it freely. Strong women walk away, and here's the final unshakable truth. They walk away not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of self-respect. They walk away because they have learned that love should never cost you your dignity, your peace, or your sense of worth. They have walked through the fire of heart confusion and disappointment, and what they have discovered is that staying where you are tolerated, manipulated, or undervalued is not courage, it is surrender. Real strength is not measured by how long you endure someone else's inability to love you fully. It's measured by how boldly you reclaim yourself. Strong women honor their emotions, their instincts, and their boundaries. They understand that walking away is not failure, it is triumph. It is the declaration that they will not settle for anything less than love that is whole, consistent, and honest. They know that begging, shrinking, or over-explaining has never built real connection. It only teaches others how little they must give. So they choose freedom over fear, clarity over confusion, peace over drama, and in doing so, they create space for the love they deserve, a love that matches their depth, meets their heart, and mirrors their respect for themselves. And here's the last truth to carry with you. Walking away does not mean closing your heart. It means opening it to the right people, the right love, and the right life. It means choosing yourself unapologetically. Because strong women know this: above all else, you are never too much, too sensitive, or too demanding to be loved, but you are too valuable to stay where you are not. And that is the ultimate act of courage and self-love.